turn to the big focus at this hour. The matter of sending Delhi government school teachers to Finland for training has once again become a flashpoint between the Lieutenant Governor and the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi. Delhi Deputy CM Manish Sisodia writes to L-G again seeking immediate approval for the Delhi government's teachers training in Finland. Sharing a copy of the letter written by the Deputy CM to the L-G, Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal put out a tweet this morning saying, "I urge Honourable L-G to allow our teachers to go abroad for training." Honourable L-G had himself said that he is not against it, unquote. Now, alleging that L-G Vinai Kumar Saxena has rejected the proposal again, Deputy CM Manish Sisodia has written to him once again, seeking immediate approval for the same. What does the letter say? Let's put that out on our screens. The letter says, now, regarding the training of teachers in Finland, the matter is with you since the 20th of January. You have neither given assent to the proposal nor sent it to the President for taking a decision expressing your disagreement. So the matter hangs in the balance. Since October last year, the Finland file has been doing the rounds of your office, and during this period, the file was sent back twice on the pretext of seeking clarification. Further, the Deputy CM says you refused to meet the CM to discuss the matter, and the file was sent to you again, hoping to get consent within 24 hours. So this is yet again that the file has been sent back to the L-G. Let me have Ishika join us from Delhi to tell us more about the sequence of events. Ishika, it's quite clear that the AAP government is obstinate about this because they feel that this is a training which is necessary for the teachers, but then it has to get a formal approval from the L-G. The matter hangs in the balance. Over to you to tell us more about what is the argument that the Aam Aadmi Party is offering in this regard.
Well, Afrida, we have been seeing, for the past few weeks that the Aam Aadmi Party have been very, very stubborn about sending their teachers to the Finland. Now, what they have been saying is that, once the teachers are sent to Finland, it will bring change to the education model in Delhi. Now, they have been also stressing on the fact that the Lieutenant Governor is in fact obstructing it because he does not care about the education model of Delhi. And now we are seeing that the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has in fact tweeted out that he has sent the file again to the Lieutenant Governor for the teachers training in Finland. Now, what the L-G House is right now saying, and what the Lieutenant Governor had also said, that he needs, in fact, what Lieutenant Governor is saying, that there should be an analysis as to cost, how is the cost benefiting analysis of this whole project, and whether or not can the teachers be sent here itself. So that was the argument that was given by the Lieutenant Governor. But right now also we are seeing that the Aam Aadmi Party is very stubborn about it, and this is in fact a new flashpoint. So we'll have to wait and watch,
whether there is a response this time around or not remains to be seen. Ishika, thanks for joining us. Let me introduce, joining us here on the program, Vineet Goenka, spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Piyush Joshi, political analyst, supports the Aam Aadmi Party, Nayan Parikh, who is an educationist, also with us here on the program. Very good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. I want to get opening comments from all three of you. First to you, Mr. Goenka. Why should education become a political issue? I mean, the L-G, in this case, very clearly has remained non-committal. First, the L-G said, I do not oppose the idea, but at the same time, he has not gone ahead and approved it. What the AAP is saying is that the file is with you for the last 10 days. What prevents you from approving this trip if you are not against it, Mr. Goenka?
Afrida ji, Ram to you, to my co-panelists and all the august audience who is watching this. You rightly said that L-G is not against the idea of sending teachers to different places to get more knowledge on their skills, learn new things. But in any organization, whether it is small or big, I'm sure in your own organization also, the management would like to know what happens to the money, what is the cost benefit analysis, what will be the indexes of learning, what will they get from that. And that's a simple small question being asked by the L-G and also the citizens of Delhi. I think Mr. Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia has to answer that first in place of playing politics. So my request to them through your channel and to all the people who are watching this is, let us know what qualitative change will come in these particular teachers who are going there. If you allow me 10 more seconds from my side, if this money is available to spend for teachers to go and have a foreign visit, why not appoint 745 principals who have been waiting to get appointed in the Delhi managed schools for long? And let me remind your audience, there are only 1027 Delhi schools, out of which 745 don't have full-time principal. वहां पगार दे देते तो थोड़ा अच्छा होता. That's our belief.
Education, if I'm not mistaken, is in a concurrent list. So there has to be some convergence of ideas when it comes to policy making. That's the reality. Now, I will tell you, Mr. Goenka, I think Dr. Joshi has got disconnected with us. I was going to ask him for a rebuttal. But before I come to you, Nayan Parikh, I want to tell you, Vineet Goenka, since you raised this issue, what is the response from AAP about the cost-benefit analysis? Well, Arvind Kejriwal says, a soldier lays down his life for the country but merely gets a salary of 50 to 60,000 rupees. Have we ever done a cost-benefit analysis of a soldier's life? We are shaping the future of our children here. We are building a nation. So he says, I spend my entire salary on my children. You cannot do a cost-benefit analysis of such things.
Afrida ji, thank you for bringing this particular point here. I was trying to avoid this, but as you have raised it, let me answer it in 3 bits. A, Arvind Kejriwal has no face. जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं किस मुंह से वो सोल्जर्स के बारे में बात करते हैं, because he keeps asking for proofs and evidences of the actions of Indian Army. So he is an anarchist who always questions Indian Army, so it should not give this example. A, just because you had asked me, I have given this. B, his children never studied in Delhi school. They studied in private school. He did not set an example rightly there. 3, I request once again through your channel, appoint principal, which is must. Then I'll give you one more thing. Out of these 1027 schools in Delhi, 698 does not have science stream. You know, what will happen to the future? How will they get 50,000? Please tell me whether your own channel will employ people who are not skilled, who do not have basic educations which are required. Will you employ somebody who does not have a teacher in his school? How would the kid know? So please don't get into this fast.
You are saying they've got their priorities wrong. You are saying before you go to the extent of sending teachers for foreign training, there is a lot more that needs to be done, which should have been greater priority. No, I get your point. I have to bring the others in. Dr. Piyush Joshi is also with us.
Point, but the audience should know it, ma'am. So please, let me complete.
Okay, quickly, please, 10 seconds, yes.
This gentleman does not have a right to speak on Indian Army or soldiers. He has insulted them multiple times. A. B, he has to appoint principals. He has to start science stream in the school. He has to give classroom, basically, and not to count toilets as classroom. That scandal which has to be investigated, and my request to the agencies is that they should investigate how many toilets were counted as to be classroom. There is a scam.
Okay. Yes, you made your points. These points have been made earlier, of course, against the Aam Aadmi Party. Right now, we are focusing on this issue of the Finland training, simply because it has come back in focus. We will take up those issues in another program. This is a short duration discussion. I want to bring in Dr. Piyush Joshi. You know, a very simple question that Vineet Goenka is asking, that why is it so difficult for the AAP to give a cost-benefit analysis? And I agreed with Mr. Goenka to the extent that in work life, you cannot cite these examples from your personal life and your personal priorities. When it comes to this domain, everything has to be in black and white, unfortunately, on paper, and every penny has to be accounted for. Why is the AAP dithering on this, Dr. Piyush Joshi?
AAP is not differing from anything. It is very clear that any policy decisions, as far as education is concerned, you know, the right remains with the democratically elected government. Now, our BJP spokesperson may call Mr. Kejriwal an anarchist, but he is the convener of the National Party, and he is the democratically elected, he is a democratically elected Chief Minister of the National Capital Territory region of Delhi. So the people of Delhi has elected him to do a certain job. And what is that job? It is to ensure that each and every child who is residing within the boundaries of Delhi gets a good education, gets a good health care, and gets a good water and sanitation, and also, you know, get a decent living, you know, and that's Mr. Kejriwal's job, to improve the standard of living. An educated India and a healthy India is very important. Otherwise, we are never going to become Vishwa Guru, no matter whatever chance we start with. So the main thing is this, that the LG does not have any right. And it is very clear whether you want to approve the file or whether you want to keep the file on hold. It is very clear because since October, he has returned file twice. At that time, he did not ask for a cost-benefit analysis. He asked for certain clarifications. Now he's encroaching into the domain of a democratically elected government.
No, it's not really encroaching because certain subjects are in concurrent list, isn't it? I think education is one of them. There has to be convergence and consultation between the state and the center. I understand that Delhi, the dynamics are different. Here is an L-G with certain powers, and if I'm not mistaken, land, police and public order is what comes under the L-G's domain. The rest of it is to be handled by the state. But my question is why adopt this adversarial approach? Even if you go through this letter that Mr. Sisodia has written, it is challenging the L-G. It's not an appeal or a request. It is, you know, the tone and the tenor is extremely adversarial, and that is what I'm trying to ask you, Dr. Joshi, that how do you plan to operate like this? It's not Mr. Saxena. The two other LGs before this had a similar problem working with Aam Aadmi Party, and this cannot simply go on. I'll come back to you. Let me bring in Nayan Parikh. Mr. Parikh, where does this, leave us as citizens? The educators are hanging in the balance. There is a certain policy AAP has decided to go with, and the LG is sitting on it. He has refused to give his approval unless he is satisfied that this is the right way to go. What, according to you, should be the way out of this?
Afrida, मुझे तो पहले लग रहा है कि LG must have the authority to sanction this. That is why the file has gone to him. Otherwise, if it was not required, I'm sure Arvind Kejriwal would have gone ahead and done it. Which means that the very fact that the file is referred, it needs approval from LG. And therefore, I think we must kind of grant it to the LG that he would evaluate it in his own manner and take a decision. However, BJP and LG and BJP spokesperson needs to keep in mind that are they politicizing the issue? Which means that if it was an elected party of BJP, would they have still raised these issues? It seems that with political motive, if LG is raising challenges against an elected government, and I feel that this is a matter which if it is within the reasonable kind of explanation should be allowed, because cost benefit would happen later. I had last time also talked about IIM Ahmedabad, where we sent our faculty initially to Harvard Business School. They came here. There was a cost incurred and benefit came later. And therefore, do we allow this benefit of doubt to AAP government that, okay, let them try and we would audit that later. And because it is hanging for 2-3 months, is it purely for cost benefit or is it political stalling? I think what we don't want is politics coming to education. This is a question of children's future. And therefore, even if there is some bit of chance that this would bring in some kind of improvement, should we do that? On AAP side, they should try and see if the similar training can be obtained in India and therefore cost can be saved. So in that sense, as you rightly said, that they would need to work with each other. They need to collaborate. Instead of that, LG is perhaps taking a position, AAP is...
Right. So you are saying politics is being played, and I think it's not lost on anyone right now, given the fact that this is not the only issue. We're running on our screens the number of issues where AAP and the LG are on loggerheads. Yes, I'll have you respond to this, Mr. Goenka, but since you brought up the teachers' appointment issue just today, there is an update that 6,112 new teachers appointed in Delhi government schools. In just 4 months, another 2,200 will be appointed. This is an official confirmation that has come to our reporters. I wanted to say that things can happen simultaneously. Teachers' appointment and teachers' training. Why can't both go together, Mr. Vinit Goenka?
Of course. Before I answer your question, let me answer Piyush Joshi ji, and where he raised that we are calling him anarchist. Sir, for your information and for the information of the people who have heard you, he himself called anarchist. I never called anarchist to him or to anybody. I would not do that. I'm not been abroad. My upbringings don't permit me to do that. As he has called himself anarchist, we address him as anarchist. A. B, you said job of the elected government. Sir, as rightly said by Nayan ji, LG has his own duties to fulfill and he cannot sign a file without he's satisfied with the intent and also the results of this. I'll give you one more example because why I'm talking to this to you. See, Aam Aadmi Party-led government in Delhi has a habit to fudge things. I'll give you one simple example. If you refer to Times of India, dated 1st February 2019, it talks about academic year 2017 and 18. And I think 4 years is a decent time, Mr. Joshi. It talks about academic year 17-18, where 1,55,436 students were failed. Okay. And out of that, only 52,582 were readmitted. Now, you know that if children are denied readmission, and what is the number of the people who were denied readmission? 1,02,854 students were denied readmission in Delhi schools.
What is the debate about, sir? We can debate Delhi education model till the cows come home, Goenka ji. What are we talking about right now? Right now,
let me complete. I have never spoken in between. Pitaji, I would like to have a decent...
Stick to the debate, Mr. Goenka, because we don't want to spread this to other issues right now. Like I said, we have to stick to a point in debate. Please finish your point. I'll have Piyush Joshi respond.
Afrida ji, if you doubt your own report of Times of India, I don't mind. If you're let me complete. I quoted it is Times of India dated 1st February 2019. You have thrown 1 lakh students out of the system. कौन से मुंह से बच्चों की बात करते हैं आप?
See, there is data and there is data. I agree. The report that you're quoting is from Times of India. It cannot be inauthentic. But we are right now focused on this issue. I know there will be 3, 4, 5 other issues where the Aam Aadmi Party is answerable for lapses, for discrepancies. But we are right now talking about this particular issue of training in Finland, which the L-G has decided not to give his consent. Okay, please, let's not talk over each other. Piyush Joshi, I want to understand from you a very simple point which has been raised in this program, and that is that why is it so difficult for a person like Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia to convince the L-G that here is something that is going to work well for our teachers? And I personally feel there is nothing like experience and exposure. You cannot replace it with some academic notes, you know. So for teachers to travel abroad, overseas, see how other countries are operating, to my mind, it's an important exposure. Now, why is it so difficult for the current government to convince the L-G over it? Why is politics coming in?
The problem is wherever you find that the state governments are being run by the party in opposition.
Outside the system of education.
No, let Mr. Joshi finish.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Joshi, please.
No, fair enough.
How difficult it is to point.
अरे आपने मध्य प्रदेश में 20,000 स्कूल क्यों बंद कर दिए भाई साहब? गुजरात में 6,000 स्कूल बंद क्यों कर दिए?
But I'm out of time in this program, so I'll have Mr. Joshi quickly finish his point and I wrap up the program. Go ahead, Piyush Joshi.
20,000-25,000 स्कूल आपने मध्य प्रदेश में बंद कर दिए। आप किस तरीके से बोल देख रहे हैं?
So this is the problem, viewers. Unfortunately, this is not one of those channels where we allow, this kind of a slanging match. So I'll have to interrupt and I'll have to close the program here because we're trying to do this in the viewers' interest, in the interest of education, in the interest of educators, in the interest of encouraging the teaching profession. But unfortunately, we'll have to leave it at that. Vinit Goenka, Piyush Joshi, Nayan Parikh, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Afrida. Thanks, Afrida.
Thank you.
Let's take a short break. When we return, Andhra Chief